Hello, dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, USA Football Zone, latest football highlights. What does the true sound of victory sound like? Imagine this, deafening echoes ringing in the ears of thousands, walls of blue and white, a surging sea of waving arms and legs, and faces radiant with pure, unadulterated joy. That is the sound. Just a few meters away, a sea of yellow utterly motionless, a deafening silence, faces buried in hands, flags hanging lifelessly, and tears streaked with face paint streaming down cheeks. That is the sound of heartbreak. The final whistle blows, one nation triumphs, while the other crumbles completely. It is a single moment, the ultimate culmination of a 90-minute battle and the definitive conclusion of a rivalry that has endured for over a century. But to grasp the true significance of such a moment, to fully feel the depth of that joy and the agony of that despair, you must understand what is at stake. This is no ordinary match. This is match for which the entire world stands still. Argentina versus Brazil. The spanning over 110 matches since their first clash in 1914, this rivalry has redefined the very essence of South American football. Now, fast forward to the 2026 World Cup. On one side stands Argentina, the reigning and defending world champions. Not only that, but they are also back-to-back winners of the Copa America in 2021 and 2024. They operate like a well-oiled machine, bound together by a brotherhood that has secured their status as the #1 team in South America through a stellar qualifying campaign. And on the other side, Brazil, five-time champions, a football-obsessed nation grappling with a 24-year World Cup drought, a streak that will extend through 2026, rebuilt under the legendary coach Carlo Ancelotti. This squad is desperate to reclaim its lost glory, and above all, they are desperate to exact revenge for that humiliating 4-1 defeat at the hands of that very same Argentine squad during the qualifiers, a devastating loss that cost their previous coach his job. This is the ultimate showdown between two titans, a battle for the very soul of South American football. So let us imagine that we are standing right in the middle of this battle, surrounded by the world's most passionate supporters, to witness what happens when an irresistible force confronts an immovable object. Just picture yourself there barely 3 hours before kickoff. There is a strange electricity in the air. It is so intense that you can practically feel it on your skin. The stadium feels like a living, breathing entity, split right down the middle in a vibrant clash of color and sound. On one side, the blue and white, on the other, the famous canary yellow. Incessant chants echo through the air, a constant battle for vocal supremacy. The Argentine supporters are a surging sea of humanity, jumping and dancing. Their songs tell the stories of Maradona and Messi, tales of victories won and enemies vanquished. We meet a supporter named Mateo, draped in an Argentine flag. His voice already hoarse, amidst the din, he shouts, "There is nothing else. This is everything to us. We are the world champions." Remember that 4-1 match? We've come to remind them who the true king is. Today, we won't just win, we will dominate. His eyes widen with a deep conviction that is almost frightening. On the other side, the Brazilian supporters respond with their drums and samba rhythms, yet, there is a restless tension here, a mixed sense of hope and deep impatience. A supporter named Isabella, her face painted in green and yellow, clutches a locket tightly. "We've had to wait a long time," she says, her voice trembling slightly. "We have the talent, we have Vinicius, we have Rodrigo, we have Ancelotti. We just have to keep the faith. Winning the World Cup is our birthright, but beating Argentina, that is a different kind of heavenly feeling. This is a battle to reclaim our lost glory. This is not merely a game. It is a clash of two distinct ideologies. It is a collision between Argentina's cunning and fiery courage, and Brazil's tradition of where the pressure lies not just in winning, but in winning with style. The moment the teams step onto the pitch, the tension becomes indescribable. It is not merely noise. It is a physical force, a surge of human emotion that shakes you to your very core. This rivalry is real. The stage is set. So, what would such a match look like? It begins with blistering pace and raw emotion. Every tackle feels like a statement, every 50-50 ball, a declaration of war. The opening 20 minutes remain taut and cautious, much like a game of chess, led by the tireless Alexis Mac Allister and Rodrigo de Paul. The Argentine midfield attempts to stifle their opponents, keeping them under constant pressure, but Brazil, thanks to their lightning speed, remains a perpetual threat on the counterattack. Then comes the moment, you can picture it, can't you? The 32nd minute, a powerful, lightning-fast counterattack. The ball is played across the pitch to Vinicius Jr., he cuts inside, his footwork flawless, the defenders appear as mere blurs, he dribbles past one player, then another. For the first time in the entire match, the Argentine defense looks completely torn apart. From the edge of the box, he unleashes a powerful shot that rockets into the top corner of the net, a massive explosion of yellow. The section of the stadium housing the Brazilian supporters erupts. It is a moment of pure, unbridled emotion. Strangers embrace one another, screaming and weeps. Isabella rises from her seat, throwing both hands into the air, gazing up at the sky. All her restlessness vanishes. In its place surges a wild, triumphant joy. For just a fleeting moment, it feels as though that 24-year-long wait has finally come to an end. Elsewhere, a dreadful silence descends. Thousands of Argentine faces freeze. In disbelief, Mateo stands absolutely motionless, hands clasped over his head, staring blankly into space. The jumping and dancing cease, the singing and chanting fall silent. It is a strange, heartbreaking stillness, as if a cherished dream has shattered into 1,000 pieces. The champions are trailing, but a world champion cannot be held back for long, can they? In the second half, Argentina takes the field with renewed vigor and measured intensity. They are the world champions, and they begin to play like it. Waves of blue and white crash repeatedly against the formidable Brazilian defense. The tension within the stadium becomes almost unbearable. Every misplaced pass, every blocked shot elicits a collective groan from the Argentine camp. Meanwhile, the Brazilian supporters erect a wall of noise, a cacophony of whistles and shouts, giving their all to urge their team toward victory. The minutes tick by. 60, 65. The match reaches a critical juncture, and then, in the 67th minute, that decisive moment arrives, a truly extraordinary moment. Amidst a rapid exchange of passes, Julian Alvarez spots a narrow opening on the pitch. He spins around instantly and, relying on his exceptional presence of mind, fires a magnificent shot that evades the Brazilian goalkeeper's desperate lunge. A deafening roar erupts all around. The section of the stadium that had remained silent for so long suddenly explodes with joy. It is more than just a celebration. It feels as though a heavy burden has been lifted from every heart. Mateo is screaming at the top of his lungs, embracing total strangers. Relief and a newfound sense of confidence are clearly etched upon his face. The chants begin again, this time louder and more impassioned. Vamos, vamos Argentina! Echoes from every corner. Now, the Brazilian supporters fall silent. Isabella slumps into her seat, clutching her hands together. That familiar dread and anxiety begin to seize her once more. The chance to take the lead has slipped away. The tide of the game has turned. The undefeated champions are wounded, but not yet beaten. The final 20 minutes unfold in a state of extreme, unbridled chaos. The game surges from one end of the pitch to the other, a frenzied battle for that historic, decisive goal. A controversial tackle reignites the age-old rivalry, and a scuffle breaks out between the players. A Brazilian shot drifts just wide of the post, causing the entire stadium to gasp in collective astonishment. An Argentine free kick whistles past the upright, sending 40,000 spectators leaping from their seats one moment, only to slump back down in despair the next. The 88th minute has passed. The match appears to be heading toward a draw, a result that satisfies no one. But this rivalry rarely offers satisfaction. It delivers only ecstasy and profound agony. A hopeful ball is floated forward. It is nudged lightly ahead, a desperate gamble. The ball arcs down from the sky and then, charging with the force of a freight train, comes Lautaro Martinez. He does not hesitate. He does not even pause to control the ball. He strikes a volley with such explosive power and flawless technique that the ball becomes nothing more than a blur. It rockets into the net. The explosion of joy is seismic. It is a sound you will never forget. It is the sound of the dream of winning the World Cup igniting anew. The Argentine spectators transformed into a massive, unified crowd. Erupting in jubilation, people were leaping from their seats, flags waved frantically, and tears of joy streamed down every face. Mateo, however, simply slumped back into his seat, covering his face with both hands. He was completely overwhelmed by emotion. This was football in its most primal, most powerful form, and just a few yards away, the silence of defeat reigned supreme. The Brazilian supporters stood motionless, like statues. In the blink of an eye, their hopes had been extinguished. As the final whistle blew on this extraordinary, thrilling match, Those opening scenes flashed before our eyes in their full context. The Argentine players collapsed to the ground in victory. The Brazilian players lay scattered across the pitch. Their quest to reclaim their lost glory had ended in the most heartbreaking manner imaginable. As the supporters began to stream out of the stadium, the stark contrast between the two sides became vividly apparent. The streets turned blue, resembling a flowing river of white, an emotional celebration steeped in song and jubilation. We spotted Mateo once again. His voice was now completely hoarse, yet a radiant smile beamed across his face. "I told you," he croaked, his eyes sparkling with intensity. "I told you. This team's heart is bigger than the world itself." This is Argentina, champions. A few minutes later, we saw Isabella walking slowly, their flag draped over her shoulders like a blanket. Her eyes were red, yet she shed no tears. A profound sadness etched her face, though it was tempered by a faint glimmer of pride. "We lost," she murmured softly. "It hurts deeply. It hurts even more because we lost too, but we will be back. Brazil, it always comes back. This rivalry, it will go on forever." He concludes with a small, wistful smile. What better ending could there have been to the night? What a night! What a thrilling contest! This was merely a glimpse of what this epic battle might entail, but we want to hear your thoughts. How do you think this match will unfold? In your opinion, who will emerge as the hero? Share your predictions, your joy, or perhaps your sorrow with us in the comments section below. And if you are a fan of this beautiful game and the stories it tells, don't forget to subscribe to follow us every step of the way throughout this World Cup. Above all, everything revolves around this one simple game, a game with the power to fill an entire nation with joy or plunge it into deep sorrow. Tonight, we experienced both extremes, one right after the other. We witnessed moments of sheer ecstasy and moments of profound despair, all encapsulated within just 90 thrilling minutes of play. For Argentina, the story of tonight will be etched into history forever, and for Brazil, it will remain a painful memory, one that will only serve to fuel the fire burning within them. Get ready for the next battle, because in this rivalry, there is always a next battle, and the whole world will be watching.